Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com. So, here's a quiz question. Who wrote Norway's finest symphony? Any guesses? Well, I'm going to give you the answer. It was Finn Mortensen. Who is Finn Mortensen, you may ask? Well, he was a contemporary Norwegian composer who lived from 1922 to 1983. He was Norway's first ever professor of composition, for all the good that did him, and he had a very, very limited output. But what he wrote was fairly extraordinary in some respects. I mean, for example, he wrote a wind quintet just before he wrote the symphony here. His Opus 5 is the symphony. I think the wind quintet is like Opus 4. It's a riot. It has a really sleazy tango with like a saxophone solo, and then a movement called avant-garde that goes squeak, bloop, eep, oop, eep. He had a sense of humor. Now, that's always a bad thing in the world of classical music, as I've found out over the years, much to my dismay. Humor is not usually encouraged or understood in this world of serious music. And his music actually is quite serious. He evolved from a sort of neoclassical idiom to free expressionist atonality to strict serialism to mix it all up and see what happens. And then he died. That's basically it. And you can actually hear each one of these phases on this disc because each of his orchestral pieces represents one of them. The symphony is early and it represents his more neoclassical phase. He was strongly influenced by Hindemith, and the symphony has 4 movements. The first 3 are in sonata form, and the finale is a quadruple fugue. Now, Mortensen kind of liked to write fugues, and all of his fugues are slightly insane sounding. I mean, they sort of have this manic counterpoint run mad feeling that's a lot of fun when you hear them. I once saw a Norwegian pianist showed me one of his manuscript fugues for piano that absolutely looked like PDQ Bach had written it. It just was notes going all over the place and parts like crazy. And, so apparently he sort of just wrote himself out of existence. It's the only way I could describe it. He did everything in one piece that you should do, and that was it. So, for that reason, he doesn't have such a big international reputation. His music isn't played all that often, and how many times can you play the one symphony? It's sort of like the Franck Symphony goes to Norway, only in a later style. So this symphony is, like I said, neoclassical, and it also has a motto theme, which is the second subject of the first movement. The first subject is rather chromatic and kind of gnarly sounding and really, I think, kind of cool. And the second subject is very triadic. It sounds a lot like the opening theme of the Barber second essay for orchestra. Da 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 ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba da 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 do 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 do. I'm never triadic, but that's what it sounds like. If I could clear my throat, I could do it, but I'm not going to put you through the agony. Anyway, that theme becomes the second subject, for example, the scherzo. It's in the slow movement, and it is the apotheosis, the fourth fugue subject of the quadruple fugue, which ends the symphony. I just think this is the most marvelous work. It lasts, 37 minutes in this performance, and it's brilliant. It's scored with such clarity. I mean, his writing for woodwinds has that snappy, fresh, bracing quality. It's just a perfectly crafted neoclassical, quasi almost expressionist in places symphony. And then you get to the next work, the Pezzo Orchestrale, which is orchestral piece. It's only 7 minutes long. It's freely atonal, but this is all recognizably the same guy. There's the same clarity, the same focus, the same sense of purpose. Not a note too much or too little. There's nothing to criticize about it. You may not like the idiom, but there's such evident ability and craftsmanship behind what he does. Then you get Evolution, which is even shorter, 5 minutes. It's strictly serial. And we end up with Pair Orchestra for orchestra, 12 minutes and 29 seconds, his large last work. I mean, most of his music is very, very concise. And like I said, he basically sort of wrote himself out of existence. Now, this symphony has actually been recorded at least 3 times. And the first one was with the Oslo Philharmonic under Maris Jansons when they were just getting started. It's not terribly good. It was also released on the SIMAX label here. And the playing is not fabulous and the sound is not fabulous, but it gave you a good sense of the piece. And it was coupled to other works by Mortensen that were not orchestral. This is the first disc to contain nothing but Mortensen's orchestral music, and it is absolutely wonderful. It's the Munich Radio Symphony under Terje Mikkelsen, and the label is SIMAX. And let me tell you, and there's another one that just came out recently, but the bottom line is if you want to get the Mortensen Symphony, and you should hear the Mortensen Symphony because it is a wonderful, wonderful piece, here's the recording to get. Great sound, great playing, great performance of a great work. As I said, probably Norway's finest symphony to date. Give it a shot and let me know what you think. I bet you'll be impressed. Keep on listening, folks. Thank you very much, and if you enjoyed this little introduction to Finn Mortensen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because there's a lot more where that came from, believe you me. Bye-bye.